The NBA has a list of problems that is a mile long right now. We've covered most of these problems extensively here on the channel in the last year or so, but one topic that we haven't really touched on too much is the NBA's relationship with China, which leads me to one of the biggest issues in the modern NBA: hypocrisy. Every day, LeBron James is preaching about equality. LeBron, along with most players in the NBA, crap on America as if it's the most racist country in the world. I'm afraid to leave my house because a rogue cop will kill me. The American system is designed to keep us down. We are protesting for equal rights. Do I think LeBron James's heart is in the right place? Do I think his intentions are good? Yes, I really do. I really think LeBron James' heart is in the right place. But there's a problem. Because of the blatant hypocrisy, LeBron James and the NBA's message as a whole on equality, it gets lost. I have seen people compare LeBron James and other NBA players who exercise their right to protest. I have seen them compared to Muhammad Ali. Now, for those of you that don't know, Muhammad Ali protested against the draft in the Vietnam War back in the late 60s or early 70s. There is a big difference, though, between Muhammad Ali and LeBron James in the NBA. There's a couple of big differences, actually. One, Muhammad Ali was protesting against a war that a lot of people in the country were against. LeBron James and the NBA are protesting against a mythical war of systemic racism. They are protesting against police brutality, but it is agenda driven. It's only police brutality if it is a white cop killing a black person. They don't protest when black cops shoot black people or when black civilians kill each other. That is the type of hypocrisy that I'm talking about. The NBA's message is agenda driven. The second difference between Muhammad Ali and LeBron James: Muhammad Ali risked his entire career to stand up for what he believed in. What is LeBron James risking? What did Giannis and the rest of the Bucks roster risk last season when they boycotted their own playoff game? They risked nothing. Their careers weren't at risk because they know Adam Silver is weak and he will let them do whatever the hell they want. The only thing that they have risked is their credibility, and I don't think they really give a damn about that. I guess you could say LeBron James has risked his reputation before he decided to be the face of social justice and the woke movement. LeBron James had a spotless reputation. He was viewed as the best basketball player of this generation and a loving father and husband. But now, a bulk of the NBA audience, what little audience that they have left, views LeBron James as a political pariah. He is known more for his ridiculous political opinions than for what he accomplishes on the basketball court. But that's his own damn fault. When LeBron James led the NBA down the path of wokeness last summer, all we constantly heard about was equality. They were promoting the Black Lives Matter organization, which really confused me, because LeBron James is supposedly a family man. One of the main goals of Black Lives Matter, the organization anyway, one of their main goals is the destruction of the nuclear family. That goal was posted on their website for the longest time until they folded to pressure to take it down. Now, how can LeBron James be a family man and support a group that promotes the destruction of the nuclear family? Hypocrisy. It's okay for LeBron to be in control of his children, his family, but when it comes to everybody else, the little people, the village should be responsible for raising the child. The biggest example of hypocrisy with LeBron James and the NBA is proven in their dealings with China. Remember when Laura Ingraham over at Fox News told LeBron to shut up and dribble a few years ago and leave the politics to the political analysts, the people that know what they're talking about? Well, some of them anyway. The NBA was outraged when she said that. How dare Laura Ingraham tell our stars to keep their uninformed opinions to themselves? But when Daryl Morey, who was the general manager in Houston at the time, when he put out a simple little tweet in support of the protest going on over in Hong Kong a couple of years ago, Adam Silver in the NBA front office, they silenced him. LeBron James came out publicly against him. Why? Daryl Morey was supporting people that were protesting a tyrannical government. They were protesting for their freedom. Why in the hell would Adam Silver and LeBron James have a problem with that? Because they are in bed with China. Basically, what we learned, it is okay for anyone associated with the NBA to speak out on politics as long as they share the opinion of LeBron James and the NBA front office. If you happen to have a different opinion, then you need to shut the hell up. LeBron James and the NBA's blatant hypocrisy when it comes to China is just downright absurd. They are not afraid of what people think of them in America. Clearly, they're not afraid of what we think of them. The Chinese government? Adam Silver is deathly afraid of the Chinese government. If the Chinese government told Adam Silver to stab himself in the hand or cut off his own hand, he would ask them to borrow a knife. The NBA promotes equality in America, but they completely ignore the human rights violations going on in China. If LeBron James was really about equality, he would publicly demand that Nike move its factories from China over to Akron, Ohio. That way, all the people that he's supposedly fighting for, that are supposedly being held back because of systemic racism here in America, all those people would have jobs making LeBron shoes. But LeBron doesn't really give a damn about that. Probably because it is impossible here in America to find decent slave labor. Over in China, slaves, they're a dime a dozen. They produce LeBron shoes for pennies a day. Nike would actually have to pay the people in Akron, Ohio a decent wage. Believe it or not, the woke sports media has actually asked the NBA in the past about their dealings with China, specifically how they can be so concerned with human rights violations in the United States, but they're strangely silent when it comes to far worse violations in China. You know what the NBA's response was? The NBA said they can't involve themselves in every little human rights violation that goes on the planet. Translation: not only are we afraid of China and speaking out against them is bad for business, but we only speak out when it fits our woke political agenda. The NBA has 3 basketball training academies over in China. These academies are geared towards young Chinese kids, teaching them the game of basketball. The hope is the NBA can develop a homegrown Chinese superstar and market him, kind of like they did with Yao Ming 15 or so years ago. The problem is, these academies over in China are rife with abuse. Coaches physically abusing these children. The children weren't provided schooling, no education. You've got coaches over there 30, 40 years older than these teenage kids, and they're beating the hell out of them. Once again, the NBA has been asked about this before. Here is NBA Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum's response to these allegations. Quote, "I'm not an expert in every human rights situation or violation. I'll tell you what the NBA stands for. The values of the NBA are about respect, or about inclusion, or about diversity. That is what we stand for," end quote. Translation: we're woke in the NBA when it comes to violations of human rights in America. But when it comes to China, we bury our heads in the sand and we just pretend it's not happening. Then, when we're asked about it by the media, we give some garbage response that absolutely means nothing. I know I stay on LeBron James a lot when we talk about this, but look, he's not the only player in the NBA that is benefiting from business in China. The New York Times actually posted a story back in April that barely received any mainstream media attention. There are 2 companies based in China. Lining and Anta, that use Chinese cotton that is produced by forced labor. In other words, slave labor. Guess who endorses these two companies? Klay Thompson, Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson has an endorsement deal with Anta, reportedly valued at around $80 million. Dwayne Wade has a clothing line with Lining. James Wiseman, Alex Caruso, signed on with Anta this year. Jimmy Butler, Fred VanVleet, signed with Lining back in November. CJ McCollum, D'Angelo Russell, they also have deals with them. Now, the United States actually has a ban on Chinese cotton that is produced by forced labor. So, where are all these NBA players making this money off of these Chinese endorsement deals? In China, of course. Klay Thompson has even said in the past that he wants to be the Michael Jordan of China. Someone commented on one of my videos over the weekend on the woke NBA, and they actually made an interesting point. The commenter said that the NBA doesn't really care about their decline in America because they're so popular in Europe and China. And maybe he's right. Why should Klay Thompson give a damn about declining ratings? He's making $80 million in China. The league itself makes billions of dollars every year on broadcast rights and other revenue streams in China. But there's a problem with this mentality, with basically giving up on America and relying on China. The Chinese government is fickle. You are one swipe of the pen away from being banned in the country altogether. Hell, they damn near banned the NBA 2 years ago over the Daryl Morey tweet. If that were to happen, if the NBA were banned in China, what are they coming back to in America? They've already dwindled an audience of 20, 30, 35 million people down to 6 to 8 million for the NBA Finals in the span of 3 years. They would have to go on an apology tour here in America, begging fans to come back. But it could already be too late. Most of the fans that the NBA's lost, they might never get them back. There's an old saying in the television business. It is easier to gain an audience and maintain them than to try and recapture the attention of the audience that you've lost. Because once you lose an audience, it is almost impossible to get them back. This is not the NFL that we're talking about. America's quick to forgive the NFL because we love football. People can live without the NBA. They've proven it. It seems like millions of people are doing just fine living without the NBA right now. Now, what do you guys think of the NBA's hypocrisy when it comes to China? Do you think the money the league is making in places like China and Europe has caused them to not care as much about what we think here in America about what they're doing? Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.